Why do 70% of digital transformation initiatives fail spectacularly? And how can your enterprise avoid becoming a statistic? In this lesson, you will learn exactly how. Welcome back to the Digital Transformation Masterclass, where we transition from understanding the illusion of modernization to executing structural re-engineering. In our previous lesson, we established that buying new enterprise software does not magically solve deeply ingrained corporate operational inefficiencies. True modernization requires a holistic architectural shift across the entire organization, demanding equal investment in three critical foundational pillars. These three pillars form the transformation triad: people, process, and technology. They must be addressed in this exact sequential order. Most failing enterprises invert this triad. They purchase an expensive technology platform first, attempt to force their processes to fit it, and ignore their people. This inverted strategy practically guarantees massive financial waste, severe operational bottlenecks, and crippling institutional resistance from your global workforce. Let us thoroughly deconstruct the first and absolute most critical pillar of the triad: the people within your organizational chart. Enterprise technology is completely useless if the human workforce actively resists its adoption or lacks the necessary skills to utilize it. Digital transformation is, at its absolute core, an exercise in intensive change management and human psychological alignment across the company. You cannot mandate innovation via a corporate memo. You must cultivate a resilient culture of continuous learning and data-driven curiosity. This requires drastic upskilling initiatives, transitioning employees from executing manual, repetitive tasks to managing complex, automated digital workflows. Crucially, this cultural shift must be visibly and aggressively championed by the CEO and the entire executive leadership board. If the C-suite views transformation merely as an IT project rather than a fundamental business strategy, the initiative is already dead. Once your workforce is aligned and prepared for change, you must immediately transition to the second critical pillar: the process. Before you write a single line of automation code or deploy a new software agent, you must rigorously analyze your operational efficiency. Applying advanced digital tools to a broken, highly inefficient corporate process simply accelerates a fundamentally flawed and wasteful operation. This necessitates the academic and operational discipline of process mining, mapping out the exact, real-world flow of your corporate data. You must identify massive hidden bottlenecks, redundant administrative tasks, and the destructive operational silos that isolate your internal departments. The goal of process optimization is to ensure that critical business data flows seamlessly and securely across the entire corporate ecosystem. You must actively dismantle the bureaucratic barriers that prevent your marketing, sales, and IT departments from sharing unified operational intelligence. Only after the people are aligned and the processes are rigorously optimized can we finally address the third pillar: technology. In a successful digital transformation strategy, technology is the enabling force, not the driving strategy. It serves the optimized process. This third pillar involves systematically migrating from rigid, monolithic legacy systems to highly scalable, modular cloud computing infrastructure. We are talking about deploying robust data lakes, adopting API-first microservices architectures, and integrating generative cognitive engines. By delaying the technology purchasing decision until the very end of the planning phase, you ensure the software perfectly matches the business need. You prevent the common corporate disaster of paying millions of dollars for enterprise features your optimized workflows do not actually require. When an enterprise successfully aligns people, process, and technology in this exact sequence, the practical result is a massive competitive advantage. The organization transitions into a truly data-driven culture where strategic decisions are based on real-time telemetry rather than executive intuition. Furthermore, this synergy creates unprecedented operational agility, allowing the enterprise to pivot its business model instantly in response to market disruptions. In an economic era where consumer demands and global supply chains can change overnight, this modernized infrastructure is your primary defense mechanism. It allows your business to adapt and thrive without being hindered by the inflexible, outdated legacy architecture of your industry competitors. The ultimate corporate goal is to build an organization that is continuously evolving, where digital innovation is woven directly into its DNA. This requires moving away from viewing your IT department as a pure cost center, recognizing it instead as a primary driver of strategic revenue. As a technical leader, your absolute responsibility is to guide your executive board through the rigorous execution of this exact triad. You must become the architect of organizational change, bridging the communication gap between complex technical infrastructure and high-level business strategy. You must advocate for comprehensive employee training budgets with the same ferocity that you advocate for cloud computing server upgrades. You must demand rigorous process mining audits before signing any vendor contracts for new enterprise resource planning software or AI integrations. In our next masterclass session, we will dive deeply into the exact mechanical execution of process mining and IT infrastructure migration. We will explore the specific analytical tools and mathematical frameworks required to map your internal corporate workflows accurately and securely. We will examine practical strategies for identifying the root causes of operational friction and designing optimized data pipelines to eliminate them. We will also introduce the strategic blueprints for executing a massive, enterprise-scale cloud migration without disrupting daily business continuity. To assist you in aligning your organization to the transformation triad immediately, I have published a comprehensive enterprise audit framework. This companion documentation details the exact steps required to evaluate your corporate readiness across the people, process, and technology pillars. It provides a strategic checklist for identifying institutional resistance, mapping hidden process bottlenecks, and auditing your current legacy software stack. It is specifically designed to be shared directly with your executive leadership team to perfectly align your overarching corporate modernization strategy. You can access this critical operational documentation immediately in the professional GitHub repository linked directly in the video description below. I strongly encourage you to review these materials, prepare your strategic questions, and begin auditing your legacy workflows this week. Do not fall for the illusion that a software subscription will magically transform a resistant workforce and broken internal processes. Demand the rigorous execution of true enterprise digital transformation by establishing the foundational synergy of the transformation triad first. Master the sequence of people, process, and technology, and you will fundamentally command the future of your highly competitive industry. The digital vanguard belongs entirely to the disciplined architects of change, not the passive consumers of enterprise software. Step into your role as a strategic operational leader and begin re-engineering your corporate infrastructure from the ground up. By executing this blueprint, you insulate your enterprise against obsolescence and position it for exponential growth in the digital age. You ensure that every dollar invested in technological infrastructure yields a measurable, mathematically verifiable return on investment for your shareholders. The blueprint is in your hands. The execution requires uncompromising discipline and a rigorous commitment to operational excellence. Prepare your teams, audit your workflows, and set the foundation for the autonomous, data-driven enterprise of tomorrow. In this lesson, you have learned the theoretical framework of the triad. Next, we build the engine to make it run. Ensure your engineering teams have thoroughly reviewed the GitHub documentation before we proceed to process mining in the next module. Subscribe to continue the digital transformation masterclass, download the GitHub operational framework below, and join the vanguard. Thank you for your time.